Previously on Inspired Initiative, tensions flared and truths unraveled. Asja offered comfort to grieving elves, while Maldorwen, Euan, and Rhukkarrak questioned the strength of their trust in each other. Seeking answers, Asja visited the Living District, where a gentle priest warned of danger to come, and a date to remember, the 18th of Flamefall. Rhukka and Euan trained to shake off lingering adrenaline, but Rhukka's sleep brought haunting dreams, visions of distant faces, and a blue Drakthir. Come morning, a citywide announcement from High Counselor Thassos Sunflare suspended public magic use and postponed the tournament. The Motley Hue then scattered. Euan and Rhukka visited the Arcane Hammer. Asja warned Chapter Master Lorangar, and Maldorwen met with Captain of the Lost, Finian, seeking insight into the mysterious Sphinx. Their paths converged once more when Arcane Inquisitor Belian arrived, questioning their role in the Blazing Ball. Suspicions turned inward as Belian revealed illusions around Rhukkarrak. Piece by piece, the party uncovered the possibility that Rhukka's very identity may be a lie. Shaken and defiant, Rhukkarrak spiraled, lashing out as Euan remained at his side, while Maldorwen and Asja discussed the roles they're destined to play in the gathering storm. Tonight, we begin in the past. As Rhukka is in a state of remembrance and worry and frightened, he recalls a memory. You are small, fragile, alone. The cave curls around you like the bones of a forgotten beast. Its stone ribs jagged, its breath cold. Beyond the mouth of the cavern, snow falls in slow, suffocating silence. The cold should bite, but it doesn't. Not anymore. It lingers in your skin, yes, but you've grown used to its bite. It's hunger now that gnaws at you, a deep cold, a crueler one. Your limbs are thin, but nimble. You move along the wall, fingers tracing the edges of rough stone. You're careful, always careful, quiet, always quiet. You must be. A scent reaches you, warm, faint, but very real. Stew. Your stomach lurches with need, loud enough to echo, and panic flickers in your chest. You squeeze your arms tight around yourself, as if that will silence it. You wait, listen. No voices call, no footsteps draw near, and so you press deeper into the dark. The firelight comes into view before the fire itself does. Dancing red glimmers on stone, you peer past the rocks, and there they are. Orcs, big, scarred, and gruff. They sit around a low burning flame, a black pot suspended above it. The bubbling stew sends out waves of warmth and scent that wraps around your senses like a trap. You reach out, fingers trembling from the cold and hunger alike. For a moment, the firelight catches your skin. It's green, pale, orcish. You don't question it, you don't even notice it. It just feels right. Like it's always been that way. You keep low. The shadows around you shift slightly, curling at the edges of your movement. Not in obedience. No, not quite. More like they're watching, like they're curious. following your intent, but not understanding it. And neither do you. Your body aches with each step forward. The closer you get, the more the scent stirs something desperate inside you. You've tasted this stew before. Nothing special to them, but to you, it was magic. Salvation. And just as you're preparing to lunge for it, your stomach groans in betrayal. You flinch, then vanish behind the stones. Heart pounding, you wait. Still breath shallow. Nothing. Then a flicker of movement. You peek. One of the orcs, tall with a thick mane of braided black hair, lifts another bowl, slowly, deliberately. He sets it down on a flat stone near the edge of the firelight, steam curling upwards into the frigid air. And he speaks, a gruff word in a tongue you don't understand. The others rise, without alarm, without urgency. They begin to walk, heading deeper into the caves, leaving the food behind. And you don't wait. You sprint forward, snatch the bowl, and flee into the dark, legs light, breath ragged, clutching that warmth as if it were life itself. Behind you, you risk one glance. One of the orcs remains, and he sees you. His eyes meet yours. No fury, no threat, just a knowing look and a subtle grin. You don't know what that means. You just run. Back to your hollow, where stone wraps around you again. You eat. Every bite is a victory. Every mouthful a battle won. And when the bowl is empty and your body no longer trembles for hunger, you curl beneath the stone. This shadow settled in beside you. Not quite companions, but not strangers either. And as your eyes close, the wind moves through the cavern like a lullaby sung by no one. And finally, you drift off to sleep. As you recall this memory, trapped in the state that you are, it brings you back for a moment as you realize your surroundings are not that of a cold, dark, damp cave, but a warm bedding and a place that you want to call home. But your mind is still abuzz. Just from beside the bed, Euan, you stand resolute, watching over Rhukkarrak as he trembles and almost continues to panic. Not sure what to do other than offer a state of company and be there if he needs you. From outside the room, Maldorwen, Asja, the two of you still sit outside of the abode, the darkness now vanishing completely. As you look out, the thoroughfare of the desert chapter still buzzing with a subtle hum of curiosity and a little more urgency than previously you encountered. But it's still quite early in the morning. What are you all doing?
Maldorwen, after talking to Asja, he'll end up, I guess, the conversation with
Asja, I was reminded that I sent some letters, and I know it's maybe too soon, but I really want to hear back from her. So I'm just gonna go check if maybe she replied, Stormbird arrived, any news, I guess.
Okay, I'm going to go check on Euan and see how Rhukka is doing as well. I guess maybe our plans to go to the Spire of Enlightenment will have to wait until later today. I'm not sure. I don't know. But I'll let them know you'll be back at some point soon.
Yes, I'll try not to take too long, but I I'm also concerned about the curfew because I wanted to go with you to get snacks, but I guess that will have to wait.
Well, maybe the snack vendor will come out earlier because, I mean, they don't want to lose their money, right? Who knows? I don't like the curfew either. It's very restrictive. I understand it, but I don't think it helps.
We'll see. Well,
All right,
I'll
you go
be
do
on my
your
way.
thing, I'll go check on. Yep. And she opens the door and heads on into their little abode.
Okay.
Okay. Sorry. So she'll go in and close the door and kind of, I guess, peek around the corner of the doorway of Ruka's room and look towards Euan. How is he doing?
Euan will turn to look at you. He is currently standing kind of in the doorway, full attention, as though he's keeping a vigil. Kind of a shadow of himself when he would stand vigil over the Quran tree many years ago. And he will nod to you. He's still trembling. There hasn't really been much of a change, but I'm going to stay here and keep an eye on him.
Just as a very gentle, although it's not going to sound so gentle, but maybe as a gentle reminder, we already had to intercept Maldorwen, and I had to intercept the Inquisitor again, because the darkness that I am assuming it was not you that did that. It kind of went outside of our abode, and it drew a lot of attention. So
Understood.
if it looks like he's going to do that again, I hate saying it, but stop him.
It's alright, I'm good at bullying mages. He'll kind of offer you a sly grin.
Good thing I'm not a mage then.
I'll make sure he's alright. I'll try to keep him in line.
Do you want me to go to the infirmary and see if maybe they have some of that calm your brain down tea? Maybe help him. I don't know.
He'll think for a moment and then he'll nod. I don't know if this is something that he will need, but it is probably best to have it as an option in case he does.
I will go see what I can do when Maldorwen just went to go and see if the captain had written him. I think he really misses her. But once he's back, I guess he and I can go to the infirmary, or actually I'll just go now, but so I guess we're not going to the Spire of Enlightenment though, so we should figure out what we are going to do to try and help her get through this, because I have a feeling they're going to need us in fine form in about 2 days.
As you guys are talking, Ruka's shudders begin to calm and his breath steadies as he seems to have fallen asleep from the just overwhelmed emotional and mental exertion.
Or I don't need to go right away?
Guess we didn't need it after all.
I thought that was going to be much harder.
Yeah. Poor lad's exhausted.
she'll kind of walk to her room as she's and you see her go into her bag and reach out, grab one of her books, and make a note of some sort. Close it, put it away, walk back out. Apparently different trauma responses. Always good to make notes about this so that in the future, when I have to deal with other things, I know that there's different. She walks away with a look of, I'm not using him as a science experiment. Nope, not me.
As you walk away, you'll just kind of lightly muse. I wonder if Voltari's really a good place for us. First me, and now Rhukkarrak. What's next? You and Maldorwen?
I don't know. I think the more and more the deeper and deeper we get into this is... I don't know. The more and more down the maze we get, I think the more and more questions we're going to have. And maybe some of us are... She kind of puffs out her cheeks a little bit as if she's trying to figure out how to say this. Maybe some of us are more resilient to... Because it's not such a shock. What? No, wait. I would say you turning into a tree, me figuring out that my parents were alive. Yeah, and then the whole transformation. I'd say that, the big... some of us are just a little bit more resilient to the changes, and as much as I think Rhukk has had a hard life, I think he's had a very good life for at least what he could get from his people. Sounds like they don't have the best with death energy and everything like that. It just doesn't sound like it's the best place in the world. But at least from little bits here and there when he spoke about his adoptive parents, it was always seemed to be okay stuff and very caring. So it's... I don't know what I'm trying to say. Some people are able to take changes better than other people, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. And then some people are able to take big changes better than other people. And sometimes big changes maybe do things to people that we don't understand. Like, I don't know, turn off your whole system and make you fall into coma for a few days and scare the crap out of every single one of your friends.
I don't know who would go and do something silly like that.
No, I don't either. We should make sure that he doesn't sleep for too long, though. I mean, let's not make days-long comas a trend. But we should watch him very closely. I don't mean to be morbid, but while he was slowly starting to warm up to Drakthir, it must be very hard for him to accept that maybe he is this thing that he doesn't... I know it would be hard for me if one day I looked in the mirror and I was actually Kazdura. How about I put it that way?
I woke up one day and was green. And I woke up one day and was a little bit closer to being a tree, so...
So I think that you are the best person to work with him because I think you are a bit more understanding than... I don't know, I'm having mixed feelings about how I feel about all of this. I don't want to talk about it right now, but... I think we should watch him closely and make sure he doesn't try and do anything extreme, if that makes sense to you. Just in case he cannot handle the fact that he is actually part of the race that he very much, I guess, considers more of an enemy than an ally. Well, that was until he met you, but I mean, can you doubt him? You're awesome. She smiles.
It's a bit strange, kind of laugh a little bit. at your comment. It's a bit strange. No idea about any of this. And he talked to me yesterday briefly about some things he was concerned with. And one of the things that I mentioned to him, and I said it probably 3-4 times, is no matter what happens, remember you're always yourself. And I hope that is something that he can remember as he's trying to deal with this. Whatever the outcome may be, he's still Rhukkarrak.
I think that's one of my bigger problems is, yes, he is still Rhukkarrak, but... Well, I guess there's so many questions I have of who is actually Rhukkarrak. I mean... I'm not saying he's faking what's happening right now. That's obviously not true. But...
It's any consolation.
I don't know, like,
little one.
who is he? Like, he's still very... Like, he's been saying that he's been still talking to somebody from the Shadow Sons, you know? But I thought he broke ties with the Shadow Sons, but apparently he is still talking to somebody because he comes back and tells us these things, and there's a few things that just make me question, like, who is Rhukkarrak? And now we have the whole... Well, first we knew Rhukkarrak as an orc, and now he's... No, I can't put those together. I don't know if that... Now he's a Drakthir. A Drork. There we go. He's a Drork.
That's a new
A
one.
Drork. I don't know. He's some sort of... It's much like your Gemborn... What is it with you, Drakthir, being like, you know, dualities here? I mean, you're a tree, you're a Gemborn, you're... He's now an orc and a Drakthir? I mean, is this human in your race that we just don't know about? She smiles cheekily.
If it's any consolation to help ease your mind, little one, I don't think he knows who he is either. I don't think it's just a party.
I don't know. I guess right now I'm just having trouble figuring out who to trust.
That's
Because it
understandable.
seems every time I find somebody that I think I can trust, yeah, you know, I'm starting to learn maybe I don't have the best radar for... yeah. I don't make the best choices all the time. I don't
Yet
know.
you
I don't want to
still-
say that I don't trust Ruka, but I have a lot of questions. Just... I don't know. There's... I know that we all have our secrets, but I think...
Well,
I don't know.
I think, much like you have requested of me a few times now, asking for answers, I think that's maybe something we sit down and talk with him about as well. I still trust him. I don't think he is bad or has been intentionally lying about who, or in this case, what he is. I don't think he knew. I still don't think he knows who he is. That's why he's an annoying little shit sometimes, but it's hard to not, well, it's hard to not care for him.
He is very young. That is true.
And we've all been young. You're still young. We all make mistakes when we're young. Goodness knows I did. Goodness knows I still do.
I more mean... It's hard to have to do big things when you're young. When you're young, you're supposed to be carefree, having fun, meeting people, I don't know, figuring out what you want to do in life. It's hard when responsibilities you don't understand get thrust on you. And I could understand that if Rhukkarrak has the responsibility he feels to free his people from the death energy. And then this on top of it, and then the Sphinx, and then everything else on top of that. Mistakes will be made, is more what I'm getting at. But thankfully, at the same time, he's young, which means he has time to understand and accept the truth. And with you as a mentor, I think it would probably be a good idea.
He'll smile, taking the compliment kind of with pride.
Because as you can hear, I'm all over the place on this because I don't understand what he's going through. I am good with trauma caused by your entire civilization or race or whatever being wiped off the face of the planet, and you are like one of a handful of people left. I am great at that. You know, bring on the... This is going to be very strange for me to say, bring on the death, and I'm good with that kind of trauma. This whole... I am not what I appear to be. I just... So many questions and so much doubt, and no, it's that this one's up to you. And
how old were you when Mithindril fell, little one?
I was 20. I was somewhere around 20, 21, 22, somewhere around there. I was not so old.
Still very young for elven standards.
There is one difference, though. Before you start saying things, I had one thing that Rhukkarrak did not. I had my grandmother. My grandmother taught me how to be the person that I am now. Yes, I don't have the best... some of the best qualities. Like, I don't like showing anything but more of a positive thing, but being able to handle situations, learning how to keep a calm head. Even though I was very, very young, I had to learn this all very, very young. So there is a difference between being very young and not having a support to at least put your feet in the foundations. And for that, I feel very sorry for Rhukkarrak. I at least had my grandmother.
You're kind of playing into the thought process that I kind of had. Your situation was better than it could have been because you had that foundation. You had a mentor of sorts to help put your feet into that foundation, as you said. But in a lot of ways, there's a similarity between you and Rhukkarrak, where it's very difficult to get ahead and to know the right answers. When you didn't get off to a great start at the very beginning. Putting together the contexts from the few things that Rhukkarrak has said about his childhood and the fall of Mithindril so early in your life. Both of you started in this world. How do I want to say this? I'm sorry, I'm not that great with words. I try, but... And he'll kind of scratch the back of his head and think for a second. Neither of you were dealt a winning hand. And you've been able to make the best out of the hand that you were dealt. And you've turned into a beautiful, very intelligent, very charismatic young woman. I think Rhukkarrak is still learning how to play his.
I guess I always have to remember that that's... Normally I wouldn't be having this conversation with one of your race, but you are a little different. I guess occasionally we long-lived races need to have gentle reminders that while I may have been one way when I was Rukka's age, short-lived races are very different at those ages.
Goodness knows I was an annoying little shit when I was his age too. He'll offer a little chuckle, if you will.
I don't know what to do. I guess we'll wait for Maldorwen to go back and we can figure out what we're going to do for the day, because I mean, we shouldn't leave him alone, because again, as I said, I'm not trying to be morbid, but we should probably watch him closely, at least for the next couple of days, until we are sure that he is okay with this, or at least not okay. Well, you know what I mean, okay. Not like, hey, I'm a Draxthir and I'm okay, but like...
I understand what you mean.
We're not worried that he's going to do something stupid to himself.
But I will keep vigil over him. And I will keep him safe. Whether that be from eyes that pry or from himself.
Also, with everything going on, I think that maybe we should try and maybe go out. Like, if you have business that's your own, obviously go out on your own. But I think if we need to leave, I think we try and go out in pairs. I don't think it's really safe for... I don't know, it just doesn't seem very safe for people to go out by themselves for right now, at least.
Not right
at
now,
least
not
outside
after.
of the desert chapter. But into the city, I think we should go in pairs, definitely. So...
Yeah, not after we, it's probably not safe to go it alone after the spectacle we made of ourselves at the ball. Necessary spectacle, but we have once again put ourselves in the middle of politics, and I was hoping for a nice relaxing vacation.
You know that's never going to happen. That's not our luck.
Oh, I know that.
But maybe...
But an old dragon can hope.
We'll get to rest soon. No problems. I think we should put that... There we go. We can have a daddy-daughter vacation at some point really soon. Go somewhere, do relaxing things. Maybe there's a beach somewhere. I don't know. But I think when Maldorwen gets back, if you're going to stay with Rhukka, I'd like to... I got that list of names in Elendor of the survivors that had gone through there. I would like to go to one of the more official archives and see if any of them made it through here. So I think when Maldorwen comes back, if you don't mind, I'll ask Maldorwen to come with me, and then we can at least go and do that and come back. And then when we get back, we can see what shape Rhukka's in, and maybe we can still go to the Spire of Enlightenment, and maybe the conversation there will distract him enough that it will help. I don't know.
Perhaps. But I'm sure
But
the two
either
of you
that
will
or
be
we all
perfectly
sit
safe with
around
each other.
here for... Oh, easily. I mean... No, easily.
And with that, let's go see what Maldorwen has been up to. So you start trekking across the relatively busy thoroughfare of the desert chapter here. See all manner of sentinels donning all manner of sashes of different assorted colors that signify their different rankings. Also wondering what to do with their day. But you're heading towards the main hall there in the center to check on letters. You hope that your letters you sent a couple days back have arrived safely, and maybe, hopefully, letters of their own have found their way here. With that hope in your steps, you continue to press forward until, with your godly passive perception, you do notice that once more you are being watched, not just by the common sentinels here of the thoroughfare, but of more deliberate eyes that fall upon you. It only takes you a moment before you are able to locate the individual who is watching you, and you recognize them. The same shady, if you would, individual who gave you the task to interrupt the peace talks. The individual you met with right after you left the Somnon district. Albeit they're not in super shady clothes of ill intent, but rather common wear that you would see other sentinels wear. It doesn't appear that they have a sash of any sorts, but they are currently walking in your direction after you make contact with their eyes.
Alright, so Maldorwen will kind of walk towards one of the columns, like if there are any, and stand next to it.
Okay. A brief moment later, after you stand still, this individual walks over next to you, not directly confronting you one-on-one, but almost leaning against the corner of the column beside you, where you two can discuss, but not necessarily make it look like you are in open conversation. As he says, "It was quite the spectacle the other night. Definitely not what we were expecting, but the timing proved quite potent."
I have dealt with elves enough to know that if there's anything that scares them more than swords, that's words.
We all are an emotional bunch, aren't we?
We are. So, you trust me now? I am confident that there's more I can do.
I'm glad to hear that, and so will others. There is a lot that will transpire in the days to come. We ask of you to be ready, to heed conflict's call when it comes barking at your door, as very, very soon it will.
And how am I to face it this time? Should I use my weapons, my cunning? Should I don't know. How should I act then?
We'll leave that up to you. You surprised us this time. Another surprise won't hurt. We trust
All
that
right.
you will heed the tenets.
I
That-
will.
They kind of
Conflict will guide me.
conflict guide us, brother. And they step away back into the thoroughfare. Just a moment, a brief exchange to not draw too many questions if there are other onlookers. You don't really notice any. People aren't sitting there like, what are they talking about? Like, there's enough sentinels in the thoroughfare at this time of day that there wouldn't be any suspicion drawn by that question or that conversation. And so you're left there pondering slightly on what they said and questioning what is to come. You're not sure, but you could almost hear the grin on this individual's face when they were speaking of what's to come. What else would you like to do? Just continue on towards the hall there?
I think he will, after having that conversation, just go out for a minute, like in the middle of the courtyard, and stand there, like looking around at the other sentinels, and like just kind of like feeling the consequences of what he did to a degree, and especially of like what's going on inside the city that has also like disrupted the desert chapter to this degree. And just like, I don't know, like I think he will like revel in what he's done, and like knowing that yes, it kind of also was his words, but he will also think about what Rhukkarrak said, like maybe conflict doesn't belong here now, and it definitely didn't belong there at the Blazing Ball.
You get brief flashbacks of elven corpses that in the moment, in the fray, you didn't notice or pay too much heed to. It was the middle of battle, middle of conflict. You were in your element, but now that you take a moment to ponder, it's a little haunting. As we'll shift back to the Bodhi here in the darkened room of Rhukkarrak, you, after just a couple minutes of your body restarting after you blue screened, you come to consciousness as the immediate pressing panic has subsided. The questions still linger in the back of your subconscious, but currently you just shove them down, not wanting to think about them. And as you stir awake fully, you just feel like you have to get out. You have to go do something. You have to do just anything to get your mind off of the present.
Yeah, Ruka will, as soon as he wakes up, he'll kind of lie there for a bit and mull over, and he'll roll over in his bed and glance across his room and see a mirror. And he'll kind of get up, walk over to it, and just kind of stare at his reflection a little bit, looking into his own frost blue eyes. And just for a moment, he'll allow his curse to take hold, just his head, as it transforms into a frost white Draktyr, still with those frosty blue eyes that so unnervingly kind of fit. And he'll just shudder, turn away as he transforms back to his orc, and steps out of his room.
And right at your
As soon
doorway
as he sees
there.
Euan in there.
Yeah, Asja and Euan are having a quiet conversation.
No, my passive perception's awful. I would not have noticed you get up, so yeah, you're good there.
And the two of you were pretty
Yeah, I've
engrossed
got
in
the worst
conversation,
passive.
so yeah.
I've got the worst passive perception in the entire party. Passive insight, on the other hand, yeah.
Well, then, yeah, Ruka. I guess Ruka's gonna come out and. So, what is the plan for today?
You invisibly jumps and whirls around. When did you get up? I'm sorry. How are you feeling? Oh, that actually startled me. I haven't been startled like that in years. Oh, gods.
Probably because she probably saw Ruka come out, but she's going to get startled by the fact that Euan just got startled and jumped. And then she'll turn to say, are you sure you're okay to go to bed? My heart, I think that just took about 50 years off my life.
We have other things to do. We can. What if we just Yeah, we should probably go and ask to help with this investigation. We can get back to whatever is normal.
I think we don't help with the investigation. I think we let them do the investigation because we really don't have the authority or the power. This is not a smaller city like Elendor where if we happen to stick our noses where our noses don't belong, they're just going to kind of give a slap on the wrist. This is capital city of Valtari, or the capital city. I don't think it's going to be as simple as we just butt our noses in, and I don't think they're going to let us butt our noses in as, well, some of us might be a little suspicious. By the way, Ruka, you've got to be careful with your magic. Maldorwen and I covered for you this time, but when you fell down upset, you made it very dark, and unfortunately it went outside of the house and the Inquisitor was still around. So we were able to cover for you, but at least for now, I guess try and be more careful, I guess.
As you say that, he briefly glances nervously at the door and then kind of his expression kind of hardens a bit. It's like, yeah. But the Sentinels were asking for help on this investigation. We could help that.
What they're asking for help is for us to then become city guards and become more. This is what's being offered, is that if you want to help, you can don the Sunspire uniform for a time to help them bolster the security of the city and get paid for it. They don't want help with the investigation.
Well, regardless, it is better than sitting around here. Unless we have plans.
I thought we were going to go to the Spire of Enlightenment. And
Right.
work on what we were working on and not get ourselves in trouble by butting into investigations where it's obvious we are not wanted to butt our noses in.
Right. Well, where's Maldorwen? Are we going to
He
go?
went to go and see if any mail had arrived from the captain because he misses her a lot and would like to see if she has written him at all. So he's he'll be back soon, I'm sure.
And with that, let's go back over to Maldorwen.
Dun dun dun.
So, as you're pondering everything that has occurred over the last few days and the last few moments here, the conversation you just had, in the middle of this kind of thoroughfare, sentinels pressing around you. It's not packed where there's like a full crowd of people, but people here and there. You kind of shake yourself back to the moment, feeling Alamore's light strong on your helm there. You take a deep breath in and start to go take another step forward to whatever your destination may be before you hear a familiar voice call out to you. Brother! There you are! As Brisa runs up to you. I've been looking over...
My turn to be startled now.
I've been looking for you. Are you okay? You were just kind of standing there.
Was I? I guess I was.
With
What
that helmet
happened?
of yours, you look like a statue.
Oh, do I now? I think I'm too short to be a statue, but what is it, sister? It's good to see you, though. He's gonna
Likewise.
hug her.
She'll embrace you as well. I heard what happened. You all were at the ball, right? That's what you were saying the other day. Is everyone okay?
Oh, the ball, yes. We are okay. Why? What did you hear?
Just a spirit of whatever government person spoke to like the whole city. Now there was terrorism or attacks of sorts. It all sounded quite dramatic. And now there's curfews and magic limitations. It all just got me worried. I wanted to come see you.
I'm okay. I'd like to think we helped get things in order after what happened. But how are you? Did anything else happen in the city?
Not that I can... more than usual, I don't think. I haven't heard of some attack like this, though, for at all. Other than, like, everyone is just on edge, I suppose.
Was Malbis cancelled? Is the arena open?
There wasn't a game planned for tonight, but there is a game planned for the 19th, so 2 days from now. They haven't officially cancelled it yet, but last I heard that might be the case. Especially because it was set to take place quite a bit later into the night. And with this curfew or whatever, I don't know.
That's concerning. Have you ever heard of a curfew before? I don't exactly remember. How long have you been living here, Brisa? Time goes by so fast.
It definitely can. And sometimes it moves like so slow as well, like a granda. But it's been a while. I've been here for several decades now.
Yes. That's what I thought, but... So, you never heard of something like this before?
No, I mean, I've heard of parents and whatnot not wanting their kids to be out late nights. A citywide curfew for adults? No. This is new. Yeah,
Well,
you want to go
I
grab
know
a
you-
drink?
Yeah, sure. Let's go.
Yeah, let's get out of the... Sorry! As there's people walking around you. You all just standing in the middle there. You make your way over to the blazing sun as you sit down and have a couple of flagons prepared. The priest is sipping some storm brew. Oh, it, always picks you up.
Yes. I've actually really grown fond of this drink. I have some on my water skin right now. I'm not gonna order, but
That's devious.
well, I know you can take care of yourself, but I'm a little bit worried about this. If this is something that never happened before, well, of course you know that Kertas recently moved to where Elendor is. And
I did hear about
I
that,
also
yeah.
spoke to Valtarion Aurelius when I came here. And
Oh?
I know our people are up to something as well. So I don't know. I just think, well, you know what I think. But this time I think I'm right. That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that it's close. Brisa. It's coming. For real this time.
She just eyes you sort of strangely. A look you've received before when you've made such declarations in the past. What is happening in the city does concern me. But, brother, do you think you are looking a little too much through that helmet?
What? What do you mean?
It is always the same with you. You always talk about Kertas and what they're doing and what are you doing?
What am I doing? I guess I'm, fulfilling my duties. I'm an editor. Been so for, I can't even remember how long now. I have to think about the city. I have to think about I'm what many of, the elves that you live among just think of our people. Like, when they think of Kertas, they think of someone donning the helmet. It's been that way for ever. I know you don't care about these things, but I mean, you're using your name. Everyone knows your name, and that's great. But if I am to earn that, I have to do it differently. I have to die for Kertas.
She just takes a big sip of the storm brew. You say that is how people see Kertas. But I think that's how you see it. Yes? No. Stereotypes. But especially from my point of view, I don't hate our people. I don't hate our city. I don't hate the teachings. I think some of them are interesting. But I also don't like what they do to you sometimes. I feel like sometimes when I talk to you and see you, you're nothing more than, like I said earlier, a statue of Kertas in the past. And I know, when we were children, you would tell me these stories that Upalam would say or foolish. But you told them with such vigor, such passion. I just worry, Maldorwen. Or brother, I won't say your name. That you are not being you. It is important that you differentiate your responsibilities, your emotions towards the mask, and who you are.
Why are you bringing this up? Did you hear something about what I did during the ball?
No? What did you do?
Just get drunk, I guess. Look, Brisa, maybe you're right. I've been feeling very strange lately. Like, it's so hard to put it in words, but it kind of feels like, yes, like our people are a stone that has been tossed and never landed. We are just being blown from one place to the other, following something we don't understand ourselves. And I don't know, watching that game the other night, I do see we have a future. You are our future, I guess. I think. I hope.
No,
And
don't.
I hope I'm wrong again. But this time it's different. And the worst part of it is that what if I'm part of it, sister? What if just the fact that I wore this helmet brought me to call upon the gods themselves? What if I'm responsible for when it comes?
You just stay
I don't know what I want.
quiet.
You know all their stories, or at least you must remember the ones we're supposed to. You know how they end.
But just because those stories end in death and conflict doesn't mean our story does. Aren't we supposed to learn from the past? Not repeat it? I don't know. I'm sorry, this is... something I've wanted to talk to you about since you've left. This is the first time I've seen you outside the city, and I was hoping that you will ask, not for me, but for yourself, who you want to be.
Someone asked me to take it off. I don't think she even was aware. in that moment of how much it meant. I don't think she understood what she was asking. She wanted was to see my face. And that is something that I haven't had in so long. I love to see your face. You look happy, sister.
I am. I just hope you can be too. And if this is truly what you want to do, who is it? Who am I to tell you otherwise? I just remember times where you were I should probably get back to my team. They're also worried that the game might be cancelled. And if it's not, well, we got to practice a bit more.
Well, yes. You can't lose.
I'm on a winning streak now. I think it's been 2 or 3 in a row. Got to see if we can't get to more than those players.
Yes, show them how it's done. And thanks for worrying about me. You know I can take care of myself, but apparently
I know
not
you
in
can
the
take care of
right way.
Ertas. I don't know about yourself. Not yet.
You're probably right. Wow, you've grown so much, Brisa. And I
I've
don't
been
mean
here for a
in
while.
stature. You're still smaller than I am.
So? That's when the size matter.
I know. And thank you. Thank you. I really needed to hear this.
I'm glad. And she'll go in for another hug. Before you separate, and takes another big inhale of breath and then chugs the rest of the storm brew and kind of jolts with some energy. Oh, okay. Well, if you need to talk more, I'll be down at the stadium, probably practicing. Although, I don't know if they'll expect us to not use magic. I don't know. It's gonna be a weird time. Hopefully this all blows over quickly.
Well, yes, I'll come looking for you if I need. I actually wanted to go to the stadium with Rhukkarrak, but we'll see.
Okay, well, I'll see you there then. And she'll give a final wave as she leaves out the door. And you're sat there alone, your thoughts even more messy. What would you like to do?
I think he's gonna like bang his head against the table. Just checking that the helmet still worked. But yeah, like I think he's, very confused. Extremely so. And yeah, it's just like he's being pulled in 2 completely different directions and he's being like torn apart. But he'll stand up and just like, make his way back to the abode because, I think he's just like going to really want to be around the others. So his mind is like on something else other than this.
Yep.
Rhukkarrak would have, with the other group, he would have just been like, well, I'll be outside practicing. And so he's probably on his way out the door.
Okay. As Ruka, you head out the door, leaving behind both Asja and Euan, who both still are a little concerned for your well-being. You open the doorway, and standing there, right about to knock, is Tyrell. Oh. Fancy meeting you here. Can you chat?
He's gonna glance into the room. Sure. And he'll stand aside, open the door.
Okay. She'll walk in, and both Euan and Asja, and this is the first time the two of you have really seen this individual. You might have seen a glimpse here and there when, I guess, you might have seen a bit more when she pulled Rhukkarrak aside to begin with. But she's average height for an elven woman. Long, dark hair, kind of a light caramel skin tone, piercing violet eyes. And she's in more roguish attire, if you would, a cloak that has a little hood and everything adorning it. You can see, for the more... Actually, no, neither of you are perceptive enough to notice anything else.
Euan, Asja, this is Cyril.
It's a pleasure,
Cyril,
I'm sure.
Euan, Asja.
Just gives a nod.
Asja's going to give her the... Starts at the top of the head, looks all the way down to the tip of the toes, looks all the way back.
She'll do a little, turn around.
Pleasure.
Likewise. Well, I said I would come if there was something you guys could do to help. She kind of motions more towards Rhukkarrak. I saw what you all did yesterday night. You all fought quite well. I believe I know of the individuals behind the attack. And while the leaders scramble about, trying to even find a bit of direction, the perpetrators are going to continue to, well, sow havoc. I need to know where they're planning next to strike. I've gotten a tip that a couple of these individuals will be meeting at the Spire of Devotion. There's not much more to go on than that. And so I could use a few extra hands, especially those adept in... He kind of does a little bit of sleight of hand and stealth. More cautious approaches, as you don't want to be discovered, or they'll stay very quiet.
That officially counts me out, because I am anything but. Unfortunately, I'm not able to move as silently as I was able to in my younger years with this wound.
Don't look at me. Shiny, glittery, and also... let's just say I would probably say no to working with you anyways. No offense.
None taken. Rhukkarrak?
I'm assuming that this is taking place after the curfew?
No, I would want to go right now.
Oh, right. he's going to look at the other twos to gauge their reaction.
You fit the bill, and you already have associations. I would wait for Maldorwen to get back, because he's also very sneaky. So having more hands would be good. But you also wanted to help with the investigation, so if this, I don't know, scratches that itch, just be careful. Don't get caught. Also, don't get lured into If that old man last night had not made one small mistake, I don't think I would have told people about my meeting last night. Towards the end, the way he smiled, it just didn't sit well. Twisted, corrupted. So don't let them fool you. Even if they sound soft and gentle, they're not.
As Asja's looking at Ruka, she can, with her ungodly massive insight, she can tell that there is a lot of apprehension bubbling beneath the surface, especially as there's a little bit of a twitch as he turns to her and well, at least I can hide my form.
Very true. That is one advantage also that Dad and I don't have. Plus, I do have a hard time hiding in the shot, My hair is kind of... and... I guess I could go completely invisible, but at the same time, I don't have the same... How do I put it? I get distracted very easily. If things take too long, I just get bored, and then I start thinking, and then I miss things. I'm not very perceptive, I guess is the word I'm looking for.
Euan is nodding in the background.
A flitting butterfly. She sees him nod and kind of looks down a little bit.
Rhukkarrak, if you feel like you're up to the task and it is something that you want to do, I have faith in you. Whatever you decide.
All right.
Do what you think is right.
Sounds good. When is Maldorwen supposed to be back?
Right now. He comes back right now.
Minutes. There we go. Speak of the Maldorwen, and he shall appear.
I hope you were speaking good things about me.
We were.
Hello?
I was saying that you are very perceptive and very stealthy.
She thinks I am very much not.
Yes.
A question for the
yes.
GM.
Mm-hmm.
Would I be perceptive enough to have seen Cyril at the ball?
You don't recognize this individual, no. You didn't see her at the ball at all because she was cloaked in illusion.
And who is this?
This is Cyril. I think she has a lead on the terrorists.
I have a lead, I just need some help making it more than a lead. It's good to meet you.
Good to meet you. Terrorists, sure. So what, are we planning on following up on that lead?
Yes, apparently we need to go now. There is a meeting going on or something.
Okay,
Some sort
let's
of
go then.
contact in the Spire Devotion. That's all I really know. I don't know what time, I don't really know where. I already have a couple other friends investigating as well. But the more, the merrier.
Well then,
I'm sure
guess-
you have already come across the information, but at least what I found out last night was the 18th of Flamefall is going to be very interesting during the, what is it, of the dead, the Remembrance of the Dead ceremonies that are going to be taking place, and
The Cylindra, yes.
we should all pay attention very closely,
Where did you hear this?
is what I was told. Last night after the ball, I went to go find one of the fanatics, and I didn't really come across, not the fanatic that I'd run into before, but more of an old man, almost priest-looking. We had a conversation. Because of a few things I said, I guess he believes that I'm very much on his side. And I have to say, there are a few things that he said that I agree with. But their means that they're doing it, I do not. But he told me very clearly to pay attention during the 18th Flamefall.
It's good to
There
know.
is something coming. They're planning on doing something. And it's going to be a message, much louder, I assume, than the ball was. The ball was just a warning that the messenger was coming. What it sounds like on the 18th is that the messenger is going to arrive.
Yes, the Harbinger to the Harbinger. Alright, let's go. All who come can come.
I could use a change of clothes. Actually, I think I have some left over from the Living District.
You're just kind of sighs. Alright, well, I'll be outside. Quickly, please. And she leaves.
And he'll quickly rush to his room and change both his clothing and his physical form. Though this time he is actually going to change into a fire director.
Okay.
The lower tier is like ashen color, right?
Yes, kind of a darker onyx, kind of blackish color.
Okay. And he'll do that. And he'll look at himself in the mirror and struggle for a little bit before his blue eyes turn a more of a amber.
Okay.
And then he'll step out.
As you step out, Euan's going to look up, see the director form that you've taken, nod for a moment. When you're ready to talk about it, I'm here.
And he's going to avoid eye contact with you. Like, there's nothing to talk about. And he'll awkwardly start shuffling away, trying to avoid the conversation.
Remember, I'm Maldorwen, I'm assuming you're going to go as well. But remember, when you get home, let us know what happened, maybe?
Of course. Mm,
Also, stay safe. I'm sure she's your friend, or at least an acquaintance, but after the way that those people treated us in Elendor as basically fodder, they didn't care what happened to us. I'm very wary of them, so please be careful.
Right. With that, the two of you head on out back towards the airways, following behind Cyril there, who also takes a turn and very, very immediately, and you both have to kind of look back as, right as you take a corner, suddenly you're just walking with someone else as a full illusory form shelters her identity as well. As they leave, you and Asja, you both are just sitting now in the Bodhi. What would you like to do?
You want to go have some daddy-daughter time with the tree? I still want to go to the archives with the names, but we could go visit the little heart root.
Absolutely, let's go.
Alright.
Okay. So following
She's
in...
going to lock the door, seeing as everybody is gone. She will lock up the abode
Okay.
before they leave, as a note.
Yeah, following in their footsteps, you also make your way towards the airway. You, all 5 of you, heading towards the Spire District. A couple of you to the Spire of Enlightenment, or Illumination, rather, and a couple of you to the Spire of Devotion, somewhere none of you have been yet. As you arrive at the airways, where once there was near total freedom of movement, a quiet tension now lingers. Spire guards stand posted at the entrance, armed, alert, but not hostile. They keep a watchful eye on those who board, their presence a clear sign of heightened security. Their inspections aren't invasive, just enough to remind all who pass that the city is on edge. As the platform settles with a soft thrum of wind beneath your feet, a group of passengers disembarks, whispering among themselves. The guards step forward to intercept you with practiced efficiency. Good day. State your destination and purpose.
Oh, we are headed to the Spire of Devotion.
Oh, another one near him. You're just looking to pray?
To pray, to meet others.
They just look towards each other and kind of shrug. Very well. So aboard. As you all step aboard, we'll say you and Asja, a similar kind of interaction. You just state a little bit of just where you're heading. You see it's more of a formality than a real security check. But the moment you step on the crystalline platform, a resonant hum builds beneath your feet. With a sudden whoosh of enchanted wind, the structure propels forward, gliding smoothly into the winding glass arteries of Altari's airway system. Encased in translucent tubing, the city blurs around you, spires and bridges streaking past in elegant curves as you ride the current of directed air. The glass tunnel snakes through the skyline like veins of light, threading together the districts in sweeping arcs and spirals. Inside, the usual ease of travel feels disrupted. The silence isn't peaceful, it's heavy, pensive. Elves stand beside you, hands clasped or gripping their belongings a bit too tightly, casting uneasy glances at each other as the city slips by outside. You catch fragments of hushed conversation carried by the shifting breeze within the tube. 15 dead. The words are barely audible, spoken as if to make them less real, as an individual right next to them. At least we're close to the Calendre. And it's clear that this kind of tragedy has shaken something deep in the city's bones. Valtari, always so composed, so far above the chaos of the world, now moves with a nervous rhythm. Eventually, the platform coasts to a graceful stop as you disembark into the heart of the Spire District. The sight before you is no less awe-inspiring than before. The towers rise impossibly high, etched with runes and brimming with arcane light, but the tone has changed. Where once the streets pulsed with focused energy and scholarly calm, Now there's an edge of relentlessness. Elves hurry from place to place, their movements sharp, purposeful. The city hasn't halted, but it has shifted. The rhythm is faster, more frantic, like the whole of Voltari is trying to solve a puzzle it never expected to face. As Asja and Euan make your way towards the Spire of Illumination, its crystalline frame piercing the sky like a needle of starlight. Inside, the familiar halls hum with magical energy. Scholars still study, students still murmur through lessons. Life endures, though the undercurrent feels stirred, like a still water rippled by a sudden stone. You approach the front desk where a harried clerk rattles off directions, more a test of memory than assistance. 3 rights, 2 lefts, then straight through the amber-arched hall, past the star chamber, right again. Luckily, one of you jots the directions down before they slip away. You follow the winding corridors, past crystalline murals and quiet research chambers, until finally, the arching door of Damaris Vane's laboratory comes into view. As you do see on the interior of the little window of the doorway that the professor is in his laboratory currently flipping through some papers.
Asja looks at you and kind of shrugs and knock, knock, knock.
Immediately, Damaris kind of stumbles a little bit and, in another act of surprise, looks over at the doorway and greets you with a warm smile before coming and opening the door for you. It's good to see you both. Welcome back. I'm sure you're here to see the hard route, yes?
Of course.
We're here to see Jorge, yes.
Oh, hey. I don't know who that is. Did I get a new assistant?
That's what we call it. No, that's what we call the tree outside of your office so that it stays more of a secret.
Interesting. Well, come in. And as you enter, you do see Lunessa as well in some paperwork, and she gives a little wave and a welcome. Well, I'm glad you returned. I sent Lunessa out to... because I've been wanting to speak with you both again. I'm glad to see that, motioning towards you, and that you're at least back on your feet. And is everything all right?
Absolutely. Everything is fine. Kind of takes just a moment to think before saying fine. Before settling on fine is the word that he's saying.
And you get a quizzical look from the professor as he starts to inspect your changes, if you would. The small monocle, he adjusts it on his face. I see that you are not the same. Interesting.
You might want to also show him the one other change.
She'll kind of close the door behind them.
The really bright one?
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
And Euan will kind of dig under the tartan sash that's still around his chest and pull out the lantern pendant that Asja had made for his new Elandris.
How do I put this? Surprise! I was.
Long story short, while I was asleep, she put an Elandris around my neck and it apparently reacted. And so now I guess I am a gem-born Drakthir? Is that even...
Oh,
I don't know.
Wow, ow, that is quite the interesting. And you watch as he just kind of circles you a little bit, and just inspects like the gemstone. He reaches out for it, and well, not like to grab it, but may I?
Smacks his hand. No. Of course.
He doesn't take the actual necklace off of you. He just holds it up, inspecting it further with the monocle. It is incredibly bright, even with this dimming of the exterior. I don't think I've seen an Elandris glow this brightly before. Interesting. No, write all this down. And she kind of sighs a little bit.
It really only happened for maybe a very, very brief moment when one is born, just as the Elandris is put on them. But, I mean, at that point, your life has literally just started. But even at that point, it dims from that intensity to more of a normal intensity within less than a second, I would say.
Right. It's very, very curious. I have not heard any... I don't know why other races have not been tested with the Elandris stones before, but even then, it shouldn't have quite worked. The ritual is, like you were saying, done at birth. And you weren't born yesterday.
But perhaps reborn.
He just gives you an eye and kind of looks up towards the mossy horns. Maybe. This is all a lot more information as well that I will need to review with some other tomes that I'm thinking of. Regardless, you're here to see, what do you call it, a whore? That's a interesting name. The hot root, yes. And he paces back over to the desk where you can see, very yet again sheltered in this arcane weave of protection, the small little sapling. And currently there are all manner of implements of study that surround it. Nothing that would make you feel uncomfortable. It's not like a surgeon's table, more like magnifying glasses and what appear to be like a telescope of some sort, or magnifying, yeah, stuff like that, like different mechanisms to try to ascertain more of its nature. As Damaris starts speaking once more, moving some of the tools here and looking through one of the glasses as well. Now, it's quite odd. This sapling is, well, it is wonderful. It's one of the most condensed sources of life energy that I've ever really had the chance to encounter before. It reminds me similarly to that of primal essence, albeit not quite as strong, but similar, albeit the life energy. It appears stuck, though. And he kind of, the little tool kind of prods the leaf a little bit, not in a harming manner, but it hasn't grown at all. We've been taking very proper care of it, but it seems to just be, well, stalled. The only ounce of growth that I've seen from it is when, he points back over to Euan, you did something, whatever that was. But even then, it was minor. But could you potentially try it again while I have these tools to better see what is going on both here and just motions like in the air elsewhere?
Euan is going to nod, but I have a question for the DM.
Mm-hmm.
Typically, when a barbarian rages, they are unable to use their magic and everything.
Right.
But my curiosity is, if I rage and I go into the form more like I had when I was helping ease the suffering outside of the ball in the aftermath, would I be able to at least try to use a druid craft while I am in tree form, basically?
Yeah, I mean,
Or,
that makes sense to me.
alright. So Euan will walk over.
Hold on, just one thing. Before you do anything, just one thing.
Alright.
Just make sure it does not last too long.
And you see her take off her lantern. And again, the same way she did last time, she's going to place it down and wrap it around the roots of the sapling and step back. And you see her immediately, like, her fingers start to twitch. Okay, go for it.
Okay.
Just
Before we do get into that, we're going to transition over to
Alright, good.
the other two. If I can find my... There we go. So as both Maldorwen and Rhukkarrak, you step off the airlifts or airways with Sorel ahead of you. You head towards a different direction, following her lead towards another spire here. Oops. Sorry. There we go. As you step into the courtyard, the Spire of Devotion looms before you. An elegant, towering structure of crystalline glass. Its spire stretching skyward as if yearning to touch Alamor herself. Sunlight catches the building's surface, casting radiant beams and refracted rainbows across the polished stone beneath your feet. The air here feels hushed, reverent, sacred. Even amidst the soft footfalls of robed figures in light gold vestments moving in and out of the great arched doorways. There is peace here, solemn, untouched by the turmoil of the world beyond. And the doors stand slightly ajar, welcoming you into the sanctum. You watch as before you fully enter, Sorel once again steps aside and looks towards you, Rhukkarrak. You might... Oh, can you do this? And she shifts her form once more, and to match the figures of golden robed, and you see light, very bright, almost like the bright early morning dawn robes adorn her, and a different face entirely. At least... try to match in a little bit. If not, that's fine. We can split up.
I have never. Let me. Let me see.
And he will. I'm pretty sure that what he's using to disguise himself only works on himself, not his clothing. But he will attempt to shift his clothing, at least to some degree.
Okay. Go ahead and just roll a charisma check for me. Being your spellcasting ability.
That is a 10.
9 is not bad. You start to concentrate, and you have dealt with this curse your entire life. And every time you try to embrace it, you're pulled back to that state you don't necessarily want to think about right now. And so you try to imagine those robed figures in your mind's eye, and you see Sorel in front of you kind of helping with that picture. And it takes you a moment, but Maldorwen, you do see in front of you as small motes of energy start to swirl around Rhukkarrak slightly as his form shifts a little bit. Still that of a Drakthir, but the clothing more resembles that of the priests or robed figures.
He's gonna be like panting heavily.
Oh, that was why do we need to look like them?
That will allow us to get further places than we would elsewhere. Regardless, I think we split up. We need to cover more ground. We don't know where this is transpiring, but I can assume it will be against or amongst two individuals that are keeping to themselves. Let's go.
But what exactly do people worship here?
Just kind of looks up at the sun. More?
Right. Okay.
The elements? What is there else to worship?
Well, there are some that worship
It doesn't
some
matter.
elements over others.
We need to go.
I just didn't want to be awkward if someone stops me.
Anyway, and he's gonna turn and head in deeper.
Okay. Maldorwen, you follow suit?
Yes.
Yep. As you enter, the temperature shifts, cool, tranquil. The walls curve in gentle arcs adorned with luminous artwork woven into the glass itself. To your left, a serene image of a matron of pure light cradles elven children in a gesture of divine comfort. Ahead, a hearth-like swirl of violet and amber glass evokes the essence of warmth, memory, and home. And to your right, a chaotic burst of brushstrokes, windswept and wild, depicts elven dancers caught in a storm, their bodies frozen mid-motion, yet somehow it almost looks like they're moving, flowing with unseen currents that seem to breathe through the space. At the heart of the spire stands a towering statue, tall, graceful, and wreathed in refracted light from the crystal dome above. It glows with an otherworldly brilliance, and though the form is abstract, you feel in your chest that this must be a depiction of Alamor, or at least a vision of her through elven eyes. Around the statue, humble citizens kneel in quiet reverence, their heads bowed, whispering prayers to the goddess and the elements. As you walk in further, you notice more movement of these robed figures, and from a back-end corner of the spire, through an inner passage, Maldorwen, you recognize a face. One of the elven nobles from the Blazing Ball. One that you saw fall, saw carried out, lifeless. Yet, here they are, walking slowly, aided gently by one of the robed figures. As they appear much more gaunt than they were the night before, but very much alive where they were not prior. What would you guys like to do?
I think Maldorwen would point that out to Rhukkarrak. Say,
Do you think there's powerful healing magic here in the city? That guy seemed dead to me during the ball. Got tossed around like a ragdoll, but he's alive now, somehow.
I don't know of any magic that powerful, but I'm also not the most knowledgeable on things. Does seem like something to keep an eye on. And he'll just kind of casually start walking that direction, not trying to catch anyone's eye, just to see where they're going.
Trill kind of, before you split off, she just says, look around. We'll meet back in the entrance in roughly an hour. Hopefully we can find something. But she steps away in a different direction that you two are walking. And as
Rhukkarrak would nod at her.
Okay.
Go.
The two of you start walking in that direction, and Rhukka, you as well recognize this individual. I mean, the chaos that happened last night was a lot. There was a lot that happened, but it's hard to get the image of a corpse lying very much lifeless on the ground in front of you out of your mind. So you do recognize this individual. As they look over and notice the two of you, but you both look quite different than what you did on the previous night. As they stumble a little bit, barely almost seeming to keep themselves on their feet. You see, as you get a little closer, like their face is just shallow with, almost looks like they're famished. Haven't eaten in who knows how long, which is not something you recognize from the night before. As one of the helpers here aids them in sitting down on a bench, as they just take a deep breath in.
Is there anything that we can assist you with? You seem quite drained.
And just look up towards you. No, I don't think so. I think they were assigned to help me. And the attendee, who is currently at making sure this individual doesn't fall or whatnot, just looks up to you. I think I've got it. I'll call for help if more is needed. Maybe check on the others.
Well, may the light of Alamo rejuvenate you. And,
Oh, wait. At others, does it seem like he's indicating, the other people sitting in the pews and stuff?
No. More like checking on... You watch as... Or... Let me describe the scene a little bit better. As you broke away from the main entrance there towards this individual, there seems to be an infirmary of sorts built into the spire, a place of recovery. And while you do see this individual here out more in the main foyer kind of place, goodness, there is other hallways that lead into where you imagine more people would be taken care of if needed to, like a hospital of sorts. And they kind of motion towards that hallway.
Okay.
well then, we will let you be.
And he's going to get up and start walking towards the other infirmary.
Okay. Maldorwen, are you following? What is Mal doing in this time?
I think Maldorwen would actually take this chance to break off and try to follow Cyril.
Okay. You want to... You're just tailing her then?
Yep.
Okay. Go ahead and make a perception check for me. She's going to make stealth. Not necessarily to hide from you, but overall.
I don't know, like my dice can fuck me really badly. Let's see. Oh, sorry, I rolled twice. Oh, look at that, 2 sevens.
It was meant to be. Let's see. Oh, only 16. So there is a time where you watch as Sorel goes into a little alcove, little hallway there, or at least the form that she was wearing. And as you approach and go to join her, you're keeping a bit of a tail. Well, okay, I should ask. Are you trying to keep some distance between the two of you so she doesn't notice you're following?
Yes, of course.
That's what I assumed, just didn't want to... Alright, yes. So you keep a little bit of distance. By the time you get towards the hallway, you look down and you don't see that same individual, but you do see another cloaked, robed individual with wearing similar vestments walking down the hallway. And what your immediate thought is she just shifted her illusion once more. Do you continue to tail?
Yes.
Okay. So as Maldorwen continues to tail Cyril here, trying to glean more of what she's doing here, and if it matches what she says she's doing here, Rhukkarrak looking towards these infirmaries, while on the other spire, a couple 1,000 feet away, or something like that, Euan and Asja investigate the Heartwood sapling. We're going to take a quick intermission. We'll pick up right as Euan and Asja are looking to glean more into what is beneath the small sapling of the Heartroot tree. So Euan, you stand there, the sapling only 5 feet away from you. All these mechanisms, these microscopes, these glasses, and that shimmer with arcane runes to help know what is beyond just simple vision. What do you do?
I think Euan is going to tap into that same force of energy that he tapped into the other day. Well, earlier, I guess, or last night, when he was helping to aid the suffering outside of the ball. And utilizing... It almost doesn't feel right to call it a rage, but utilizing those same feelings of aid and relieving of suffering, he will spend one of his rages and will adopt the more tree-like form rather than the battle form. The buds and whatnot appearing in the quills on top of his head. And the branches that normally surround him like a hard armor, this time almost giving him more of a tree-like silhouette, but it's not the same sort of intensity that usually comes off of it. And will extend a hand. And having felt Jorge within his consciousness, he's going to reach out for that in his mind. At the same time, the healing tendrils, the small plants that grow out from him that he usually uses to give temporary hit points to his teammates, that power is going to be directed towards Jorge as well. And he will cast Druidcraft onto the sapling. Not in a way to manufacture like a flower or anything like that, but almost as encouragement, encouraging him to tap into the Quran's power and to grow.
Okay. As you steady your breath, you reach outward. Not with hand, but with something deeper, instinctive. You sense it. Not sight, not touch, not anything you once called magic. Something more. A resonance. Like a forgotten limb stirring awake. The heartroot sapling responds. You don't feel bark or leaf, not even the warmth of sunlight dancing upon it. Instead, you know it, its essence, its presence. The sapling stands small and still, yet within you feel vastness, slumbering and old, a soul, perhaps. A being not fully awake, but dreaming, alive. And you're no longer just sensing its life, you feel its thoughts, not in words, but in echoes of emotion. Curiosity, worry, fear. The sapling trembles in ways unseen, spiritually displaced, half here, half not. There's something binding it, a veil of stasis woven from desperation. Beneath that, a flicker of kinship, a familiarity, the same root as yours, the same scar. It is afflicted as you once were, but something in you has changed, awakened. You are no longer just a vessel wandering in search of truth. You are becoming one who feels what lies beyond the veil. You pull back, your eyes open to the world once more. The sapling is still there, just a small sprout cradled in soil. But the way you see it now is forever altered. The world you once trusted, the one of flesh and sound and light, feels thinner, lesser. There's so much more beneath the surface of existence. And now, you can hear it whisper. And the sapling whispers back. That same resonance. Asja, you gleam but a fraction of this, having your Elandris close. You feel similar to how you did a couple days back when you visited prior. You feel a presence there, but it's filtered, not fully conscious, but it still notices and takes comfort of your presence. As Damaris continues to examine the sapling. This is quite interesting. It definitely is reacting, not physically, but something beyond what my eyes can see. How are you feeling? What are you feeling? Please, describe the best to your ability.
As Damaris is saying this, Euan is in this moment not quite Euan. There is almost as a scabbard sheathes a blade and softens its edges to keep the wielder safe. In this moment, Euan's powers and this resonance has sheathed his sharper exterior. And as Damaris is talking, Euan will speak just barely loud enough for the people in the room to hear. He is not speaking to them, he is speaking to Jorge. As he says in Sindarian, "We see you, old friend." And after those words, Damaris's questions start to filter through, almost like there's a delay. Almost like Euan's lagging. I can feel him. There is a vastness. Something beyond that we cannot quite reach, but is within all of us.
Yes, this confirms a couple of theories. There's far more here than we originally thought. I believe yes. There is something I would like to try. And I would ask for your aid in doing so.
Yeah. Euan will... Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. You go ahead first. What were you going to say?
I was going to say, Euan will turn to look at Damaris. His eyes, still the same color of gold, but almost deeper, in a way, gem-like. I will aid in what you need, but be gentle, for he is wounded as we are.
Do you think it's something that I might be able to help with?
I believe so.
If he's wounded.
What I would like to try, deep within the oasis portion of the city here, there is some place called the Conflux. It is the strongest bearing of the spiritual realm, at least that I have found. They use its energy there to heighten the growth of different plants, especially those in use for feeding the city. I would like to bring the sapling there and hopefully channel some of that latent energy into it to help it recover.
Euan will turn to Asja and say, "It is your call."
If there is a chance it will heal the tree, then... It doesn't sound like it's going to be dangerous. I think we should probably try and do whatever we can, but... if we are going to transport it, at least to make myself feel a little better, she is going to go over to the tree.
Okay.
And
her hand is just very lightly going to touch the leaves and the upper branches, and Euan has seen her do this before, but Damaris has not. He's gonna see the transfer of that kind of radiant, so her life energy is to go into the tree, and she is going to use up 3 of her healing lights on the tree.
Okay.
So she is going to put 3 of her own healing charges into the tree from kind of like life force deal. For all of 7, but still it's...
You watch as the radiant glow from Asja transmissions into the bark and the leaves, and for a second there's an inner glow that just warms the interior of this room even more, or settling back down into its regular state.
Well, it seemed to do something. But just in case we are, she removes her other interest. Probably best if I have this around my neck and not Jorge's neck, though. Oh, that is the weirdest feeling. That. Oh. So when do you want to take it?
Well, I think the apex of Alamo in the sky would probably be quite good, and that's, well, by the time I get there, it should be right around that time.
All right. Let's pack up Jorge and take Jorge on the picnic. A nice nutritional sun picnic from Alamo.
Lunessa, would you be joining us? No, there's a lot of things I have to do here. You guys go ahead. I'll make sure that everything is okay here. Very well. Well, let's get going, shall we? I think we'll just use the same, box that you brought it in. It seemed to bring it all the way here quite fine. And you watch as Damaris repackages, more or less, the sapling in the crate that you carried it so far. There is a lack of arcane protection on the box, though. Those runes are not reinstilled.
Okay.
But with that, you aid Damaris in leaving the laboratory here behind and heading towards this oasis. As we'll transition back over to Spire Devotion, where Maldorwen and Rhukkarrak are investigating, I'll say. Yeah, Rhukkarrak, go ahead and roll me an investigation check.
Excellent. Investigation. Probably gonna go great. Oh my goodness.
Oh no.
And so it begins.
There is
Again.
a lot on Rhukkarrak's mind. And even though you try to push those feelings, those thoughts down, it's still almost too much that you're really having a hard time focusing. You do enter the infirmaries here and see that there are quite a number of individuals that are similarly afflicted to the noble out there. You're not positive if all of them are from the ball, but I'd say you recognize at least one other that looks to be the familiar. But you see different caretakers taking care of them, a lot, giving them different fruits, allowing them to, like, walking with them almost like some physical or like physical therapy, stuff like that, to retrain muscles and whatnot that might have atrophied in a rapid period of time. But you just kind of walk around that place for a moment, trying to glean the information, but you don't get a whole lot other than it appears not everyone who was carted out of the Blazing Ball last night stayed dead.
Okay, so Ruka walking around like this, one, it is again putting it right in his face of this unknown assailant, and just the horrors of the situation are also mixing with some of the stories that he was told that the Froststruck there had done. And so he starts nervously kind of shaking a little bit and absentmindedly again kind of scratching at his arm. And in order to force himself to not look very suspicious, he's going to just kind of sit by one of the people that he recognized from the ball and just sit down and be like, I don't know if you can face the atrocities, but if you would like to speak them, I am told that it can help alleviate some of the stress. And he'll just sit and either sit in silence or sit and listen.
Okay. They'll talk a little bit about how frightening it was, how they've never experienced something like this before, how it all happened so suddenly, and just, luckily they didn't feel a whole lot. Everything just went black very quickly. But
yeah, Ruka's definitely paying attention to maybe what happened when they weren't able to see, and just kind of noting that in his head. But otherwise, yeah, he's mostly wrapped up in his own problems to really be of super use.
Right. Okay. So as you just give it ear, although it's not quite as listening as maybe some of these elves hope, we'll head over to Maldorwen, who is currently tailing Sorel. As you follow her through a couple of the winding interiors here of the Spire of Devotion, you watch as she makes a couple turns and goes towards a spot where there's another set of individuals that are praying in that sort of manner towards elemental description or imagery of what you presume is a representation of like the primal ember that the city holds. And she just goes and starts to pretend almost to be one of these priests, these clerics, if you would, and starts to light some candles and whatnot, and just tend to the grounds while being in earshot of some of these individuals. But we'll say that's about what you can see. If you want to try to get closer, you wouldn't have anywhere to like hide behind, and she would definitely recognize that you've been tailing her.
Okay. Like, what else is there around in this area?
So there's all manner of like corridors that lead to different places of worship. You saw several different effigies of all manner of elemental design and different people praying to these places. There looks to be some sort of albeit very dissimilar to the archives that you've studied in the Spire of Illumination. There is places of study and what you could assume are probably much more religious texts rather than those of more scholarly texts. You do see some individuals studying different scriptures and whatnot. But if you would like to just go ahead and give me a general perception check as you go about the spire here.
21?
That's very good. You do see multiple individuals that mostly keep to themselves. Not a whole lot stands out as unordinary. You imagine this is how the spire runs most of the time. But you do stop and pause as you're walking. You do notice two elven individuals far off in a corner of one of these rooms that aren't necessarily studying. Doesn't look like they're really doing anything particularly. They don't appear to be praying. They're just there, and that is different. Piques your interest a little bit.
Okay. So I'm gonna take note of that, and then I'm gonna kind of like walk towards Cyril.
Okay.
I think.
Okay. She turns towards you in the disguised form. How can I help you?
Well, I think I found something that you may be interested in.
Is that so?
Yes.
She just eyes around the room for a moment before meeting your gaze once more.
And I'm gonna start like slowly walking out of the room.
Okay, go ahead and just give me a persuasion check.
Absolutely. Persuasion?
Yeah.
10.
Okay. She does start to follow, but go ahead and now give me an insight check.
Absolutely.
Fifteen. 15's pretty good. She's definitely hesitantly following. You can tell that she doesn't necessarily trust you 100%. But she's following with a bit of a gate between the two of you.
Okay, so I'm gonna start walking like a bit slower so that I'm ahead, but when I speak, she can hear Maldorwen.
Okay.
And he's going to say,
I can see pretty well out of this helmet, even though it may not seem like it. And sometimes the things that are harder to spot is the ones that are like right under my nose.
Go on. Where is this thing you wanted to show me?
Can't you see it? It's right in front of you. What you're looking for. You think you can take me on by yourself?
And she stops when you said that. So your words weren't
Lauren's
just
gonna turn around.
theatrics. What do you know?
You know this doesn't work like that. What do you have for me?
He just kind of stays silent. Should have. I knew. Moment gave it away. You fought amongst us. Why? Why care? Why not just see it all burn?
You look young. I think you would know better than I. Why not? I'm trying to find reasons, actually. But I am also a being of the past. Yes, the helmet is part of the theatrics, as you call it, but it's also a burden. So, if you care, then tell me, what do you have for me?
Are the dead also a burden? Those innocent, yet noble lives that were lost?
I didn't cut through them. You saw me. Don't you see?
Claim you weren't a part of it, but you said you were.
I am in. And you don't know me, but know this. I don't know what to do right now. I'm just in the middle of a shitstorm. So, I can be of use to you or to them. Decide.
Go ahead and roll another persuasion check.
Oh my god, please. 14?
14. You're right. I don't know you, and I don't trust you. I barely trust Rhukkarrak. Unless you want to see more lives lost. Whatever is coming needs to be stopped.
And you can stop it?
I'm trying. I know that this has been in the works for a while. Long before you guys arrived in the city. These whispers of conflict have been building. But I think we're at the precipice of something cataclysmic. If you know something...
I don't know exactly. But I can tell you that they are watching me. So if you do so as well, maybe you'll find something out. There's also a couple of elven, well, your people that,
And I'll describe where they are
Okay.
and like how they look suspicious.
and you're, I don't know. Something is gonna happen very soon. I think you already have a clue. I'll be there. And I'll be able to point to the people that are responsible, hopefully.
And you wouldn't be pointing
Or-
at yourself?
Perhaps. If it comes to that, I'll die as I lived. Not ashamed of what I am. You better hurry.
And he'll start walking.
And she stays as you leave. You watch her eventually take a corner and vanish from sight. Rhukkarrak, how
Right.
long are you gonna spend amidst these recoveries?
I think, yeah, he's the only thing he can think of right now is to try and get subtle hints and clues from the recoveries themselves. So as the conversation dies from one, he'll try and move on to another one. But yeah, he's just so lost in himself. He's probably going to wait until Maldorwen gets back.
Okay. More or less, it's more of the same. Just frightened nobles that are still in a little bit of shock, and both physically and mentally, as the caretakers assist them. But none of them spill secrets of what might have transpired that night.
Okay, and he'll also be like glancing out like very occasionally just to see if he can see Maldorwen or anyone else or happen to catch something suspicious going on.
Okay.
But
Maldorwen,
he's not very well invested.
Maldorwen, what are you doing? You're departing from Cyril there.
Going back to Rhukkarrak, probably. Yeah.
Okay, going back in that direction. Alright, so as the two of you are reuniting, we're going to shift back over to Asja and Euan. As you both are about to depart from the laboratory here, Damaris stops and... You know, there is something I do need to tend to. It will only be about half an hour or so. If you wouldn't mind just waiting around this area... Yes, the light from Almor should be fine still by the time we leave. Just give me but a moment, please. Is that okay?
Are you sure you want to leave this just here with us? Okay, be quick.
Should I be worried that I'm leaving it here with you? You did bring it across the sun safe.
It's true. Nobody should know. I get to just go. Be quick.
Alright, I will. Just a brief moment. And he leaves. The two of you are just within the spire of illumination there for a brief moment.
So I definitely felt it when...
I'm sorry, yeah, you cut out for me. Could you please repeat what you said? My
I
apologies.
apologize. Can you, I definitely felt the tree while doing that stuff. But if we have a tiny bit
I'm just going to run over to the desk over there, check the names. So I'll still be here, but I might as well do something, right?
I will stay here and keep watch.
I think you're the best choice for the can for that. Yep. I mean, technically more family than you and I are. And she'll head on over to the desk.
Okay, just the front desk?
Yeah, I guess she'll go to the front desk and inquire where she would go to cross-reference a list of names of people that may have come through Ellen or not, but Valtari 70 plus years ago.
Okay.
I don't know if the archives would be here, seeing it's kind of a school, or if there's more of a spire that has more of a city archive. If that,
No, yeah, the archives are a part of the Spire of Enlightenment. Or
okay. All right.
Illumination. Goodness, I keep mixing up the words. Yeah, they would point you in the right direction where you could go and reference the list. This is the same list that you got in Ellendor, yeah?
Yeah. So it has the six names. Is what?
Right.
So the only name I have is Rivenor.
Yes.
But there are 5 other names. So
That was
she
the
is
only one that
cross-referencing all of them.
you recognized at the time.
Yeah.
So go ahead and roll me an investigation check after you're pointed in the right direction towards the archives where you could do so. You here we go. Sorry, one sec. The archives of the Spire of Illumination unfold not in rows, but in graceful curving arcs. Shelves of tomes and scrolls spiraling upward around the tower's hollow heart. The entire space feels alive with quiet motion, as if the structure itself remembers every word written in its walls. Books line the shelves in concentric circles, ascending level by level, creating a staircase of knowledge that stretches towards the crystalline heights above. Soft golden light glows from enchanted orbs nestled between the shelves, casting warm halos across ancient bindings. The air smells of paper, pressed herbs, and just a trace of old ink. It is vast, elegant, sacred. And yet, even as you take in its splendor, your mind drifts to Mithrandel, to the grand archive halls buried beneath its fallen towers. In memory, those spaces felt endless, eternal. By comparison, this archive, magnificent as it is, feels like a scaled model of something far greater. A beautiful echo, if you would. Still, it comforts you, that such a place still stands, that knowledge is still honored, preserved. That comfort, however, comes tinged with a slight bit of grief. You exhale and turn back to your purpose. Thankfully, the archives here are well kept, shelves precisely cataloged, paths marked in subtle arcane glyphs. As you begin to ascend through the spiral, each step draws you deeper into the past and closer to the answers you seek. Now go ahead and roll your investigation check.
Okay. These dice, please, just please. 20. Dirty 20.
Dirty 20. Very good. Okay. You know you don't have a whole lot of time. Luckily, you have very precise names that you're looking for. So you start to look throughout the information here. And about 10-15 minutes into it, you being a scholar of somewhat yourself, being able to quickly shuffle through the books and tomes and discard ones you know aren't going to be helpful and find ones that will. You eventually come across the ledger of individuals who passed through several years ago. And on it, there are 2 names. One, Rivenor Inarok, a name very familiar to you, your father. Another, not so familiar, yet it is with Rivenor's name. A name by Malric Dornes. An individual you don't recognize, you haven't heard that name before. But the ledger states that they arrived in the city together.
Is there any... I guess there's no extra thing of whether they passed through, whether they left,
If you would like
or anything
to,
like that.
okay, yeah, we'll honor your dirty 20 because that's pretty good. You
Okay.
continue to investigate these names, more trying to ascertain who this Malric is. And it takes you another brief amount of time, 10, 15-ish minutes. You're worried slightly that Damaris is going to be maybe waiting on you now, but this is information that is very pressing. There's someone here, or at least someone who passed through here, that was from Mithrandel. And it isn't so hard to find this individual's name. As you read through a couple places, it makes note that this individual arrived and joined a man of the military. He joined the Spire Guard and rose their ranks. And it said that he was second in command. It also says that he was also a Gem-born elf. It doesn't give complete specifics on exactly who he was, but that it doesn't tell, doesn't give knowledge that he left. The last bit of information that you get was that he was right under the commander of the Spire Guard. Go ahead and roll one more investigation check for me.
Okay. Please be good to me. Not good. 6.
And that's all you get.
Yep. But that gives you a good lead. Okay, so she will quickly put all of the books away, kind of tuck those notes, and I guess rush back up to the where everybody would be meeting.
Okay.
Renewed a little bit with curiosity and a little bit of hope, I guess, that there might be a chance that she could, actually find another Gem-born elf from Mythentrol. But if he is of the position that he is, another reason she has hope is that hopefully somebody has heard of him and can tell her, is he still alive? Is he still here? Where would I find him? Type deal. So,
Yep.
Yay!
Euan, is there anything you would like to do in that about 30-minute time frame?
Nope, Euan is going to stand vigil over Jorge.
Okay. Sounds good. Eventually, Damaris does return. Thank you for waiting. Let's go. And with that, you exit the Spire of Illumination and head towards the airways once more to go to the Oasis District. As you ride the airways, we're gonna once more transition over back to Rhukkarrak and Maldorwen. As Rukka, you just listen to one of these elves, not quite hearing what they're saying, still fumbling around your own mind. You do glance up and out, and you do see Maldorwen approaching that area.
He will just kind of pat the arm of the person that he was talking to and get up and walk over to Maldorwen and just, hello, child, did you find what you came here for?
I think it found me. But yes, I think we could go now.
That is quite a quick supplication.
I guess so.
Then yeah, he'll walk over like he's walking you out, and then when you get near the doorway and he's pretty sure that no one's looking, he'll revert his clothing and walk out with Maldorwen.
Okay. The two of you depart from the Spire of Devotion. Where are you heading?
What did you find?
And I guess we're gonna start walking towards like the airways, I think.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
And as we walk, Maldorwen is gonna say,
Well, as I said,
I think
it found me.
at least I think
That's what happened. Anyways, I wanted to talk to you, Rhukkarrak. I think it's important.
At the mention of his name, he'll nervously glance around.
Is this Rhukkarrak your friend? Is it someone I should help you find?
I guess it can wait. If you don't feel safe.
Okay. So the two of you eventually arrive at the airways. I'll say timeline-wise, it would be about the same time. So right as you arrive at the airways, yet again still guarded by a couple bit more Spire Guard here than were in the Desert chapter airway station place. But you do see Asja, Euan, and Damaris, as well as a big crate.
Oh, hello.
I'm gonna approach, I guess, and say hi.
Hi, Maldorwen.
What are you doing?
We're going for a picnic. Do you want to come?
Of course. Why wasn't I invited? Is the real question.
Well, you were busy.
Yes, you're right. Well, I'm not busy now.
The more the merrier.
Yep. We're going to go and get some good, nourishing sunlight and have some yummy, yummy, nourishing food.
So,
is the plan,
Maldorwen,
yes.
who are your friends here?
What? It's fine now. You can't stop it, you know? What do you mean, who are my friends? You know them?
It dawns on Maldorwen, wait, is that Rhukkarrak? It is,
right? He's just going to give him a look like...
Unfortunately,
You have to
Maldorwen,
subterfuge.
this whole picnic is not available to outsiders. At least someone's
Well,
playing along from the party in this thing. Hey,
Yes.
you want to play this? She'll play it.
Ewan just kind of softly in the background, the art of subterfuge is lost on this one.
Well then, if I'm not welcome, then perhaps we will have to talk again some other time, Maldorwen.
I guess.
And then I guess Ruka will kind of nod at him and head back. Like he's gonna head back to the house.
Okay. Yeah, that was interesting. I wasn't aware that you were one who worshipped the tenets of Alamor. As Damaris speaks to you, Maldorwen. But yes, we are going to the...
Ruka was... Sorry, I was gonna say that Ruka went back to his like shabby clothing, but I guess
oh right,
it's
okay.
from the direction we were coming, or
Oh, rewind. You did not say that.
Okay.
But yes, we are voyaging to the Conflux. It is a place of great spiritual, well, energy. Hopefully nudges the box a bit. We can provoke some sort of reaction.
See? It's a picnic. It's just not a picnic for us. Come on.
Right. You all board the airways, Rhukkarrak, holding back a bit, not wanting to go to the Oasis district, so you need to take a different airlift or airway. As once more you fly through the blurring city of Altari outside the tubular airways. Eventually... go ahead.
Sorry not to interrupt, but just as a note, the whole time, as soon as we left the Spire of Illumination, Asja has been pretty much ready for anything that could occur. So her hand is pretty much ready to just call forth her weapon and be prepared for anything. Like, she is taking Jorge out of his well-protected laboratory very seriously, but without making it look like she's like, I'm guarding something super special. But, you know, she is prepared for any surprises that might come.
Okay. Good to know. You eventually arrive at the Oasis, a place you visited once prior. It's lush, verdant, quite the stark contrast to the rest of the city here. And you see a variety of different elves tending to large farmlands. Some harvesting tall reed-like plants, others plucking ripe fruit that hang from arid trees that stretch out, soaking in the light of Alamor. There's a feeling of community here. The workers don't look trodden or overworked. They move with an upbeat cadence, some humming along to tunes that just feel right, almost reverberate with your soul. And it seems that the foliage here also agrees with their songs, as they seem to sway and shift ever so subtly along with the tunes, almost like the trees are dancing, but so very subtly most wouldn't pick it up. As you progress further, the more life and flora you encounter. The very streets themselves shift to being not made from stone, but rather soil, teeming with life. You walk alongside a manicured stream that winds and flows through the district, feeding crucial water to the plants. After about 25-ish minutes of walking, you see before you a large circular building made from both shimmering glass and interwoven with trees and vines. At its center, a large tree that wraps its roots down deep within the fresh soil, coiling like serpents. As you enter the chamber, there's a subtle feeling of warmth and life that swells within each of you. You watch as more elven workers, clothed in basic cloths made from plant material, tend to flowers and plants that reside within this conflux. The growth here almost seems to have some sort of pattern, like the flowers are reacting towards one another, but its design eludes you. As you enter this large gazebo-like place, teeming with that feeling of comfort and warmth, the feeling of Alamore on your skin. It's very comforting. As you all progress forward, in tow with the crate that holds the small little sapling, now known as Jorge, Damaris continues to lead you in towards this tree. Now, this tree is no Boron tree. This tree is no heartroot tree. It is a large tree, but it is not one of those ancient beings that stood thousands of feet tall. As Damaris reaches around the center of the conflux here, he starts to unlatch and undo the case carrying the sapling. Well, it definitely feels right today. Hopefully, our little friend here will agree with it. As with some of your help, he lifts the small little plant out of its confined place and moves towards the middle of this tree. Now, I am going to perform a ritual of sorts, one that I have studied that should encourage the growth of this. Hopefully, it will be able to convince our little friend here to awaken, I think is the right word, from what we've discovered. I'm not sure though. If any of you have methods of what similar to what you did earlier, motion towards Asja, I think that will help. But just bolster its strength.
I have an idea. Does it just have to be in the center, or does it have to be touching the ground or the trees or anything like that, or does it just have to be here in the center?
I'm afraid I'm not following what is your idea?
Can I pick up the tree and hold it in my hands for a moment? Or does it need to be touching the ground here to get the benefits?
No, currently Damaris is holding the sapling. Oh, well,
Okay.
I was going to perform the ritual. I need to be touching it to do so. If you want to reach out and touch it as well, by all means.
If you don't mind. And again, she is going to, this time though, when she removes her lander, she's going to wrap it around her own hand so that it's sitting in the palm of her hand. And then, much like, I guess he's cupping the bottom, she's going to almost make a full circle of hands going around the sapling. Well, I guess now is best time to do this. And this time, she is going to do the big shebang that she does. Because I only have one heal left. She's going to cast Cure Wounds on the tree. But she's also going to make sure that the Elandris is kind of touching the leaves so that they are in connection. Tree has that connection to the Elandris, which for some reason says that the tree needs that connection as well.
Alright, as Asja goes to do that, Euan, Maldorwen, are either you wanting to assist in any way?
Yes. I think Maldorwen is going to move closer to Jorge and kind of like feeling sort of at peace because of the place they are at. Let me see. I think I'm just gonna also reach out and like tune into the same frequency and cast Cure Wounds as well.
Okay. Cure Wounds from Asja, Cure Wounds from Maldorwen. Euan?
As we are in this place, I feel that with the vibrant plant life and life energy around, kind of reinvigorates Euan again. Perhaps the horns look a tad more antler-like while we're in here. But Euan will rage again.
Okay.
Allowing the tendrils that come from him to affect Jorge once again. Much as he has done in the past, takes vigil to stand over the tree as its defenses, should anything happen.
Okay. Let's have all of you roll your dice. So give the Cure Wounds, healing, and then it's 2d6 temp HP, right?
2d6, yep.
Yeah. So go ahead and roll all of that.
7.
7 from Euan.
Okay. Is Asja's dice storm?
Oh gosh.
29.
29 from Asja. Very nice. That's a lot of healing.
That is a lot of healing.
Another 15. So a
15.
total of, what is that? 44 plus 7, 51 points of healing. Wow. So as Damaris starts to incant an ancient ritual, words that fall upon your ears you don't understand, but yet again seem to resonate with everything in this conflux. It just starts to glow as you each pour life energy from beyond. It feels more invigorated, like the life energy here is reinforced by forces beyond normal. The sapling starts to glow quite brightly, similar to Euan's Elandris. A very bright, golden, radiant light starts to suffuse the entire area here. As that happens, we're gonna quickly go back over to Rhukkarrak. As Ruka, you're waiting for another airway. Still almost not panicking, not in a full panic attack, but you're just trying to once more forget and do something. But right now you're just waiting, you're just sitting here as the thoughts just come up, and you look at your hands that are currently Drakthir in nature, albeit the fire Drakthir, and you just start to yet again freak out just slightly as you try to calm your breath. A voice catches out to you. Ruka, we gotta go now. It's the conflicts. There's something going to be happening there now. I'm going to go get aid. Quickly. And she starts dashing towards one of the airways. Do you follow?
It's the conflict. Okay, was she saying that it's going to be there as in where we just came from, or to like follow her?
To follow her towards the airway, yes.
Oh, okay, because for a second there I thought maybe it was happening back where we came from and she was going to go get help. So anyway, regardless, yes, he is. He wants anything to distract him. He's going right after her, jumping in,
Okay. You quickly
whether
aboard
it's smart or not.
the airway here as you, right before it takes off here, just right after your allies departed. And you see her panting. At this point, she's reverted back to her form. Billy overheard them. They said something about the oasis, the conflux. Something is happening there now. We need to get there. We need more support than just the two of us. I have a couple of contacts. I will go get them. And she starts to outline a pathway that you can take to reach this place. As you ride the airway there, you eventually come to the oasis, and she departs from you, saying once more, "Quickly, I'll meet you there in just a couple minutes. I don't know what's happening, but I know something is going down."
Okay, so I know the party was pseudo acting like he is a stranger. Did they say anything about where they were planning on going? 'Cause I don't.
They did not before you
so.
left, no. But she gave you directions to where she knows this conflux to be.
Oh, at the conflux where they're at. Okay. Okay. Then yeah, he'll quickly start heading over there.
Okay.
I thought Damaris said something about the conflux right before Rhukkarrak left.
He might have. If it did, then yeah. So it pings your attention that is where your allies were just heading with a very valuable baggage, if you would. And so you start booking it past the oasis, setting a bit of a stir here as you just start sprinting towards your allies, making up for lost time as they were ahead of you. As we once again return to the scene here. As
he's running through the foliage, yeah, whatever that word is, he, like, in his panic and this moment of craze, he's actually going to, and like the irritation of having the Drakthir form is just going to kind of overwhelm him, and well, I don't know how. I don't think he would actually be super careful about it. He's actually going to revert to his form and even try to do the same clothing trick to look like his normal clothes as well.
Okay, just instinctually, as you're running, you don't even quite notice it. You just feel that irritation as you see your hands in front of you, the scaly fingers, and you just instinctually shift back into this orcish form with your familiar clothes that you purchased, not even really giving it too much thought as you rush past. Returning to the conflux, the golden light suffuses the area. It is blinding. It is brilliant. It is overwhelming. You all feel like your souls themselves are being lifted for just a brief moment, before suddenly the tranquil hum is shattered. A hiss echoes through the air, then a rush of pale green smoke floods the chamber, spilling across the ground like a living fog. The scent is acrid, unnatural, and it clings to your lungs as it creeps around your feet. From within the haze, a voice cuts through the silence, cold, commanding, and unmistakably cruel. "Surrender the sapling, or pay the ultimate price." And I would have you all roll initiative, but I think we're going to end there for tonight.
Oh.
No.
Starfish.
No.
You
No.
have chosen death, Starfish.
No.
The death starfish.